Welcome to the journey, a different kind of storybook. Today's story is Light in the Tunnel. So please, make yourself comfortable and see if you see yourself or someone you know or love in the story. Light in the Tunnel. I remember that as a boy, I was blessed to receive all the cool toys of the time at Christmas and on my birthday. I had G.I. Joe, model planes, trucks, and RC cars. But my favorite was my toy train. Man, there was something about that train. I used to like setting up the little towns, watching the smoke come out of the smokestack and trail behind along the top of the cars as it rolled along the track. Anyone remember that? I really like watching the train go through the tunnel. When I got older, I noticed just how many other young boys liked trains. We had a real train track that ran near our home, so when we heard it coming, the sound of the whistle, we would take off running down to the tracks to see, hear, and feel that monster clickety-clack down the track. We would count the number of cars being pulled. I used to like looking at the graffiti that was drawn on some of the cars. As the years went by, we heard stories of hobos jumping onto the passing trains and riding off into who knows where. As a young boy, that sounded like the ultimate adventure. Perhaps the biggest thing that kept me from going on that adventure was not knowing if I'd be back home in time for dinner. Oh yes, my parents would have knocked the stuffing out of me. Can anyone say incentive? One of my friends, Billy, loved to play on the tracks. I think it was the danger and excitement that hooked him. He would wait longer and longer to jump off the tracks when a train approached. One day, jumping out of the way at the last minute just wasn't thrilling enough for him, so he decided to go down the tracks, into the tunnel, and wait for the train there. His past victories had given Billy a false sense of success. He felt that since he was able to jump out of the way before, he'd be able to escape inside the tunnel too. Big mistake. I believe that overconfidence is directly related to pride, which according to the Bible goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. It's just something to think about. Anyway, Billy ventured farther and farther into the tunnel when all of a sudden, off in the distance, there appeared a small, round light. As the light got bigger and closer, his heart began to race with anticipation. How big is the train? How fast is it going? When should I jump? As the light got bigger and bigger, he could now feel the ground beneath his feet start to shake. As the ground shook harder, the light got bigger, and the noise got louder. Billy's anticipation turned to fear. Then he looked up, and for the first time, Billy could see what was behind the light. It was the biggest train that he had ever seen. In fact, it was so big that it barely fit through the tunnel. He realized that if he didn't turn around and get out of that tunnel quickly, that he would surely die, because he could not get around it. He had nowhere to go except for back the way he came. As he turned and began to run, Billy realized that he was running out of time, and that the train was a whole lot closer to him than the tunnel opening. His arrogance was now replaced by utter fear. There were some children playing a few hundred yards away, Later on, they told police that the last thing they heard was the bellowing of the train's whistle and then Billy's terrifying scream. The train couldn't stop in time, and I guess if you think about it, neither could Billy. I wrote this story because I was thinking one day about how our own personal demons can do that very same thing to us. They have a way of starting off small, off in the distance, and getting bigger and bigger and faster as they rush toward us. I wonder if we think that we are in such control that we can jump off the tracks in time like Billy. Do we? I'm a big believer now that there are some doors that we just shouldn't open, no matter how smart or slick we think we are. Just my opinion. In the movie The Karate Kid, Daniel was asking Mr. Miyagi how much karate he knew, and Miyagi answered, "Someone always knows more." I must admit that I had to learn that lesson the hard way, but it also taught me humility. Today, I believe that it's extremely important to have good people in our life. People who really care about us. People we can talk to when things are good or bad. People who have the courage to tell us the truth about ourselves, but with love. My story Surround Sound is all about the people that we associate with. I really believe that if we choose what's right, then do what's right, then our lives will be all right. Not perfect, but better than our past. This story is intended for you to chew on, to think about and hopefully talk about your personal oncoming trains with someone who cares about and loves you. Never give up. Love and peace. Brother Charles.